Alright guys, welcome back for another video on HAIKYU Fly High, and today I'm going to do a guide on Infinite Challenge. Now, first of all, just a quick overview of how this mode works is that there are 5 stages, and basically you fill in a team to battle through all of the stages. However, every single time when you use a character, their stamina are going to drop and they're not going to get regenerated. So if you only have one single team and you start off with stage 1, normally by the end of stage 2, all of their stamina will have been drained dry completely, okay? So you want to avoid that from happening. And the easiest way of doing that is obviously having multiple teams. Now, having 2 teams may be somewhat feasible for a lot of players. However, because there are 4 stages, a lot of time that may actually be asking you to fill in 3 teams of players. That's kind of why it can be potentially challenging for some of the newer players or maybe free-to-play players whose second or third team are not that strong. So in today's video, I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips on how to still progress all of them, because you definitely want to be as far as possible to get all of those nice rewards at the end, right? There's some milk vouchers and also potential selection box as well. So both of them are really, really good to avoid. So try to get for all 440 stars if possible. The total number of stars you can obtain is actually going to be 450. So there is actually going to be tiny bit of room for error or margin for error as well. So you don't have to be everything 3-star, but obviously you will want to push as far as possible. So exactly what are going to be the tips you want to do? So obviously you want to have at least 2 teams ready. There's just no way of beating through everything with one single team. However, when you have 2 teams ready, there are actually going to be a few things you can do in order to make sure your second team is actually strong enough to battle through as many stages as possible. Number one, what you can see here right now is basically this is somewhat my second team with a mixture of one main team character, which is going to be in the liberal. However, the reason why I'm playing this liberal is that I would have actually choose my subsetting to not even have the liberal coming up. So that's kind of why I don't need to worry about the stamina for my liberal, and that's kind of why I'm able to play my first team character. The rest of my team, they are all basically second team character. And for this demo purposes, I'll try to pick characters that everyone will have access to. So obviously there is going to be one SSR out of my main team of 6, and that's going to be Daichi. But hopefully you guys would have got enough fragments from the challenge event shop, and also at the same time, to be honest, Daichi should be the fragment you are requesting vast majority of the time in club donation as well, because everyone can buy Daichi fragments, so you are going to get the most number of fragments for Daichi. So hopefully everyone, assuming you guys have been playing long enough, you would have either been able to summon a copy of Daichi, or you would have enough fragments to actually get exchange for a copy of Daichi as well. Worst case scenario, if you don't have Daichi, then just play your second best opposite hitter, okay? But obviously, Daichi being an SSR character is going to help out your team rating a bit more. And also, he's going to help with stamina regeneration, which I will talk about in a bit. The rest of the character here, they are all SR characters, okay? Now, there's going to be Yamaguchi and Yamamoto, and those 2 alongside with Daichi are the ones I have at 5-star and also level 70, because they can actually be used in quite a few different modes. Yamaguchi is a pinch server, so there's definitely nothing wrong with you focusing on him and actually level him up to at least 5-star. Same thing with Yamamoto. He's actually very, very good in club content, so that's another reason why you can actually spend resources on those 2. As for the other 3 players, you can see I have kept them at just 4-star and only level 40, because you don't really need to go any further. So with all of them, you might be thinking, why am I able to get such a high team rating? Because clearly we are talking about a bunch of SR characters. The reason is simple. You are able to put all of your best potential and also memory on your character. So even though they are my second team characters, all of their potential and memories are actually my first team quality. And the reason why I'm able to do this is that even when battling through different stages, you don't have to complete them in one go. Let's say if you are only managing to battle through the first 2 stages, what's going to happen is that rather than going straight into stage 3, you can actually exit this event, change up your potential and memory, equip them onto your first team, and then basically swap out the members in order to continue the match. So that's kind of why there's nothing wrong with basically taking your first team potential and also memory onto your second team character. And that's what basically are able to get me to such a high team rating. And then obviously alongside with the fact that I do have my liberal, which is also my first team as well, okay? So that's kind of why in total I'm able to get into a very, very high team rating of almost 100k. Obviously, some of my characters are very highly leveled up. For example, my liberal is level 80. You guys may not have that, so maybe you guys won't be able to get to 100k, but you should still be able to easily to reach at least 80 to 90k. And that should be enough, I think, for vast majority of the stages, of at least for the stage 1 and 2, okay? Now, in terms of your choice of characters, obviously I'm putting some SR character here for demonstration. If you guys have stronger second team members, then obviously you can put them in. However, there are also reasons why I pick off those characters, and there are two reasons for that. One is for stamina regeneration, and to be honest, stamina regeneration is kind of amazing. What I meant to say is that there are two ways of how you can do stamina regeneration. And stamina regeneration is very important because, like I said, vast majority of the time, a single character only have enough stamina for 2 matches. There are 5 matches. So unless you are able to somehow get some extra stamina on the way, otherwise you probably need the third team, third team verse of characters in order to actually battle through everything. So that's kind of why you want to have some ways of actually increasing your stamina. One way of doing this, like I said, is picking the characters carefully. How are you going to pick the characters? Basically, there are 4 characters, well, actually, no, 5 characters which are capable of regenerating stamina. There's also a 6th one, which is Kita, but you need to have him at skill resonance 4. And if you already have skill resonance 4, I'm going to assume you don't have any problem with this event. So that's kind of why I'm taking him out of the equation. If you do have him, then obviously do play him. But the 5 characters which are capable of restoring stamina is going to be Daichi. This is coming from skill 1, all right, restoring Swiss stamina. Then the next person is going to be Enoshita. This one's not too much, and you do need, and you do need him to be at skill resonance 2 as well. It's just 10% reduction in terms of stamina consumption. Then the next character is gonna be Sugawara. He's able to reduce the power spike stamina consumption by 30%. And also at the same time, if you do have him at skill resonance 4, you are also able to get a 1 of 20 stamina as well. Then the next character is going to be Yamamoto. This is just coming from his skill 3. He's able to restore stamina whenever your side scores. And then the last character is going to be the mid blocker, the SR mid blocker from Inarizaki. And whenever he blocks, he's also able to restore stamina. Now, all 5 of them are very good. Obviously, you have the likes of Yamamoto and also this mid blocker and Daichi, who are just able to restore stamina no matter what happens, provided the conditions met. For Enoshita and Sugawara, it's slightly different, is the fact that they only do the stamina consumption reduction for power spike. And then this is where you then need to be careful with the mid blocker you're going to choose. Now you see here I have picked Yamaguchi as my other mid blocker. The reason for this is because I want to pick a mid blocker who doesn't actually have a quick spiking skill. And what this forced me to do is basically, also this mid blocker doesn't have quick spiking skill as well, okay? You can see here, doesn't have quick spike. So this force, whenever I'm trying to do a spike, it have to be coming from either Enoshita, or Daichi, or Yamamoto, and both of them are power spiking, so they can all benefit from the reduced stamina consumption. And on top of that, in terms of those 3 players, I have also equipped this full set of potential for power spiking, which also reduce, well, actually no, it restores 10 stamina whenever you score a point, okay? So I have put this on all 3 of my characters who will be spiking in this match as well. So as a result, I know no matter which character is going to spike, if I manage to score, I will restore stamina. And on top of that, the stamina for that spike is also going to be severely reduced because of the passive from Enoshita and Sugawara as well. Okay, so basically that's how you want to set out your team in a way so that you can get as much stamina out of it as possible. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly play through the match. I will only go up to stage 3 because by stage 4 and 5, I'll just bring out my first team. But I'll quickly skip through all of the matches just to show you guys what you can do at the end of stage 1 and also at the end of stage 2 of how you can adjust your team to make sure you still have enough team power to continue on the event, okay? Okay, so the first match I managed to win 5-1. So that basically set me up very nicely. So let's take a look at the stamina consumption and to see how we'll start off this second match. Now you can see here, obviously because I didn't put on my liberal, he is going to have full stamina. And this mid blocker, he was able to regen a lot of stamina as well. However, the rest of members, they are actually running low a bit. They are only at half stamina. So that's kind of why you will see if you actually don't play any stamina regeneration character at all, you will probably already be running out low on your stamina already. But now let's just continue. No need to make any adjustment or just go straight into the second stage, okay? Okay, so second stage, I was actually quite lucky here that I actually managed to win 5-0. So let's take a look at how our stamina looks right now. It's likely you'll be needing to make some changes. Okay, so now you can see the stamina for four of my characters are already running quite low, and that's kind of why you will see a debuff. To be honest, at this stage, I think I can probably still beat it through, because I do have 88k power here, and the enemy is only 87k. But because you actually want to aim for 3 stars, this may not be enough. So for demo purposes, I'm going to show you guys what you should be doing here. I'm going to assume your 5 character here are already low on stamina. So what can you actually do with it? There are going to be 2 changes you want to make, and also 1 setting change. The change you want to make is you want to swap out your mid blocker, and also you want to swap out Enoshita. Enoshita is able to offer the least amount of stamina regeneration, so this is, to be honest, it's actually absolutely fine to swap him out early. And then in terms of this mid blocker, it's okay as well, because what you're actually going to do is you will also set the liberal subset into mid blocker. So even though I will be using one from my mid blocker slot here already, because he will be sharing the stamina with Yamagata or my liberal, so his stamina wouldn't go all the way down. And because I do have another very strong stamina, very high stamina on my other mid blocker anyway. If you remember, I haven't used either of my 2 first team mid blocker. So I basically have 2 mid blocker position for the next 3 matches. So that's kind of why you are okay to swap out your one of your mid blocker position. And then, like I said, Enoshita is going to be the other one that I'm going to swap out just to make sure my team power is going to be high enough. So the way I'm going to do this is that I'm going to save that changes, but it's going to be quite simple. So the one I want to swap out is going to be Yamaguchi for mid blocker. Now my strongest mid blocker is going to be Tendo, so that's the one I'm going to want to swap it to. You can also swap it to a second strongest. It's going to be up to you. It's just that I already set up my Tendo's potential, so that I don't have to make many changes with it. So what I'm going to do is I'll just take off this 2 Yamaguchi's mid blocking potential, and then put them onto Tendo. So that's what we're doing. And then at the same time, I'm also going to swap the memory around, because obviously Yamaguchi is not going to be on my first team anymore. So that's kind of what I'm going to put this one on my Tendo instead. And then the other change I'm going to make is I'm going to do it on my hero. I already set up the hero's potential here because I didn't actually need to swap it around too much. So instead, all I need to do is I will just equip the one which is currently on Enoshita onto my hero. So now I have basically set up 2 of my first team characters, and that's going to be enough, because what I'm going to do is I will go back into the stage here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my Tendo into this position and also a hero into this position. Now you can see my team power is already very high. So even though I'm still getting this debuff because of the low stamina on 3 of my characters, I have already significantly buffed up my overall team rating, and this should be more than enough for me to then go through to the next stage and actually get 3 stars, okay? And this is basically what I want to do. And basically, like I said, you also want to make sure your liberal subsetting is set to mid blocker. This is, I'm not going to show you the match anymore because I know I will definitely win 3 points here. But basically, at the end of this one, when you go into stage 4, what you can then do is you can then swap out your Sugawara, your Yamamoto, and also Daichi onto your main first team character as well. And then depending on whether or not he has run out of stamina, you can also bring out your other first team mid blocker. But yeah, so that's basically the way of how you can go very, very far in this event, even though you may not have a very strong second team.